Hi everyone! Today I'm going to be doing a review of Bridgerton Season 2, which is based on Julia Quinn's fabulous book, The Viscount Who Loves Me. As you can see, I got dressed up again today in my bling because, as usual, Bridgerton 2 was just like the first in terms of its costumes and the accessories that the characters wore. It was actually so tempting to watch the show all dressed up because it was just so beautiful to watch. But I was too lazy to get up and too busy watching the actual show to do it. But for this video, I thought I will live out my Bridgerton bling fantasy and actually wear my jewels. If you guys have seen my videos about Bridgerton 1, you would know that I really loved the first season. It was pretty much perfect. Unfortunately though, we all had to wait 15 months before season 2 came out. And what did I do in that time? I watched Bridgerton 1 a few more times. I watched it again about 3 weeks ago to prepare for watching season 2. And that was a big mistake because it just made me miss all the characters and it made me really look forward to season 2 even more. So it made the waiting feel even longer. Anyway, another way that I used up my time while waiting was publish 4 of my own books, of course, and edit more work. But I also read the other books in the Bridgerton series. So there are 9 books in total about this particular Bridgerton family. There are other spin-off books in the Bridgerton universe, but I haven't read any of those yet. Something that was really cool though was finding these 2 books, which were given out by Julia Quinn herself when she gave a presentation at one of the Romance Writers of America's national conferences. So unfortunately, they're not signed. I really wish I got them signed now, but there were thousands of us, and I think the line was really long. Okay, so what did I think of Bridgerton Season 2? Well, firstly, I was really excited about watching it. When I saw the trailer, it made me even more excited to see the show. Kate and Anthony just seemed to be made for each other. The chemistry was really good. I liked the premise that they had where Kate is from India instead of already in London like she is in the original story. And I couldn't wait. So I binge watched it from 9:30 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. I micro slipped a couple of times, but I just rewound and watched it again because I was really excited to see how it pans out in the TV show compared to the book. When I watched Bridgerton Season 1, I hadn't read any Bridgerton yet, so I didn't know what to expect. But this time around, I had a fair idea of the story, so I wanted to see how that would match or not match the TV show. And I have to say, my first impressions were not great. Mainly, I think I was disappointed. When I was watching it the first time around, I felt like the show was trying really hard to recapture the magic of season 1. So, for example, the music that worked so well in season 1, I felt like they tried to involve music again in season 2, but I didn't think that all of the choices really matched the scenes. I also thought it took forever for Kate and Anthony to get together. And in the book, they get together much earlier, but in the TV show, it's like lots and lots of episodes where they are not. And considering there are only 8 episodes, I really would have liked to have seen them get together sooner. And I think that was mainly my first impressions. So after watching it till 6:30 a.m., I did not sleep until about 5 p.m. that day because I had other things to do. So I was quite sleepy. But on Sunday, I started watching it again. And I have to say, my second impressions were much better. So I think that the problem with watching it the first time was I just had so many expectations. I had the image that I had in my head from the book. And so I thought about that instead of really focusing on what was being shown on the screen. So the second time around, I realized I actually do really love season 2 of Bridgerton. So, what were some of the things that were the same or different? Okay, I've got a list here so I wouldn't forget. Okay, one of the things that I thought was really, really good about season 2 was the meet cute. So, in terms of stories, that is when the main characters meet each other, and usually it's kind of a special moment and they catch each other's eyes for the first time. And I thought that was really, really well done in season 2 of Bridgerton. I mean, talk about showing instead of telling. You know, we get a real feel of what Kate is like as a person because the first time we see her, she's racing across the field on a horse. She does a really cool jump over a hedge, and Anthony is not surprisingly smitten immediately. And their chemistry when he catches up to her and they talk and everything just had me so excited for the season. Um, Unfortunately, though, I didn't think they had enough of those moments. Considering book 2 is about Anthony and Kate's story, I would have preferred a lot more scenes with the two of them um, talking to each other and just having that delicious banter, which is really subtext for foreplay, we all know. So, the other thing that I liked was Kate's ethnicity. So, in the TV version, Kate is from India, but in the book, she's one of the British ladies already living in London with her family. I thought it was really clever to use the colonial history of Britain to include that culture into Bridgerton. So I really liked it, and we even got to see some Indian stuff, you know, like using the haldi for the wedding, and in Kate's wardrobe, like her fabrics, there was, you know, a touch of like the materials that you might see on Indian clothing. So I really, really liked that aspect of it. Now, the music I said felt a little bit forced, but I did have two favorite songs that they did in the show. The first one was, what was it called? Oh my goodness, I've got a mental blank. So I will start with the other one that I can remember off the top of my head right now, which is Wrecking Ball. So, Wrecking Ball played on a violin sounded amazing. And considering the earth shattering feelings that the characters had for each other or have for each other, I thought it was really fitting. Um, oh, that's it. The other song is Dancing on My Own. That song was just so poignant. I actually got so many feels when I watched that scene, and I ended up singing that song around the house for I've been singing it for the last couple of days because it was just perfect for the scene where they played it. So that was really, really clever, I thought. A couple of other songs were okay, but I thought maybe a little bit jarring, like playing Material Girl by Madonna and You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette. Playing them in the scenes where they were, I felt a little bit taken out of the story, and I didn't feel like the mood of the songs completely matched the scene. But otherwise, it's always great to listen to these modern songs being played by classical instruments. It's so clever. I am totally not good with musical instruments, so I'm very impressed to hear it converted to, you know, something that sounds a bit more classical. All right. The other thing that I wanted to talk about were the new characters and subplots. So there were a lot of things in season two that were either not in the series at all or just not in book two of the series. So some of them include Penelope being very active as Lady Whistledown. So that's not really something that you see until book four of the book series. But here, we're involved in it already, and it allows Penelope to be a bit more of an active participant in her life, like rather than being very passive. And it also allows Queen Charlotte to have a goal during the season, trying to catch Lady Whistledown. I personally thought it was okay, but just the decisions that Penelope makes during the show, I just felt she seemed a bit more scheming and less likable as a result for me. Another subplot that I didn't enjoy too much was Eloise's subplot. So this is a bit tricky because on the one hand, I like that her character gets involved in women's rights. If you watch season two, this actually makes total sense. And actually, sorry, season one. If you watch season one, it makes total sense. And actually, when I saw season one, Eloise was my favorite female character of the show. And I just could not wait to read her book because I thought if her personality was like that and her views were like that in season one, I would just love her in in her own book. Um, but the thing that I did not like, so this is the other hand, the thing that I did not like about the direction that her character has gone this season is, they built up this chemistry and possible romance with a new character called Theo, and which totally did not fit the book. So I was actually wondering how that would eventually connect when it's eventually Eloise's turn for her happy ending in her own season or book. But it kind of went nowhere, and I felt like in the end, I would have preferred more time spent on Anthony and Kate's story than on Eloise's romance that did not happen. So that would be my complaint about that. Okay, heat level. So I'm sure a lot of you have already heard, or if you've seen the show, you've noticed that it's not as steamy this season as last season. Not until the final episodes, anyway. And even then, it was very short. No pun intended at all there. So there just wasn't enough. I felt like if the TV show had stayed truer to the source material, which is the original book, we would have been able to see more of Kate and Anthony falling in love and lust, and it would have felt more about them. As it is, we don't even see them get married, so we don't see their wedding, and we don't really see them get together very much at all. And actually, you know, in the book, they get engaged after she gets stung by a bee, and that happens really early in the season on the TV show, but then nothing happens after that. So I think that was the problem when I watched it the first time. I kept waiting and waiting for them to finally kiss or for something to finally happen with their relationship, but it didn't. So that was the disappointing part for me. When I watched it the second time, I appreciated a little bit that they wanted to build up their chemistry a bit more, or maybe their frustrations, etc. But I think I still would have preferred for them to get together sooner, or at least have more scenes together. And I think that's something that's probably the main thing I did not like about Bridgerton season two. There just was not enough Anthony and Kate material where it's just them. And because when it's them together, the show was magical. I just loved those two characters and the actors that they chose to play both characters on screen. I just love them together. And I would have preferred to have the show focus on them instead of all of these other subplots. So, my hope is that in future seasons of Bridgerton, we will see a lot more of Kate and Anthony, considering they shared this season with all these other characters. I'm hoping that the other characters get to share their season with Kate and Anthony as well, because they're really great characters. The actors, Jonathan Bailey and I can't remember her name, the lady who plays Kate, are just so great together. So I would like to see more of them. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think or what you thought of Bridgerton season 2. Did you agree with the things I said, or did you completely disagree with the things that I said? What would you have liked to have seen more or less of? And what are you looking forward to in season 3, which I think is supposed to be about Benedict? So that'll be interesting because at the moment his love interest has not shown herself yet in the show so far. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thank you for watching.